Well, it's not very clear what these countermeasures could be as of the moment. The obvious direction that we would be thinking of is obviously the ongoing trade talks between China and the U.S. What's sure is that China has really marked its firm opposition to this bill even before it was signed by the president, with the ambassador to the U.S. in China being called to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday to be given sort of a dressing down by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs there. Wang Yi, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, today explained that these practices will seriously poison the atmosphere of Sino-U.S. relations and have impacted the mutual trust that the two countries have built over the years. So perhaps as countermeasures go that are not trade-related, we could imagine some sanctions towards U.S. citizens that are parallel to those that could be imposed on Chinese officials in Hong Kong who are seen to be heavily impacting the autonomy of the territory there. But right now it seems to be all bluster, all basically threats, but it's still not very clear what these countermeasures could be coming from Beijing.
Now, as you just mentioned, all of this comes as the U.S. and China are holding talks to try to find a way out of their trade war. How could this affect that?
Well, there could be some overlap there in between those two issues. The two sides that have been, the two delegations that have been conducting these negotiations have been at pains to explain that these were separate issues, but this might just make them not separate anymore. And we could easily see China hold back some of those agricultural purchases that are so dear to Trump because they serve one of his key electoral bases for the upcoming presidential election. That could be one thing where Beijing could act sort of rolling back some of those promises of agricultural purchases. There was also purportedly some advances in intellectual property protection from the Chinese side. They could also put a hold on that for the time being. Nonetheless, there seems to have been genuine desire, both from Washington and Beijing, to get some form of deal, no matter how substantial it was, in the next few weeks or months at this so-called phase one of a trade deal. So it'll be very interesting to see how that develops in the next few days, weeks, and months as to how this Hong Kong issue will impact those negotiations.